Alright, sixth graders, you are ready for the wonderful world of letter math. Okay? We're going to start learning about algebra. Algebra is a form of math that uses a lot of letters. Okay? That doesn't make it complicated. It just means it's a different type of math. Okay? We're going to be talking about things like expressions in algebra. And some expressions, or the word expression refers to a way of showing a number. It's like a way of expressing a number. Or if you're learning English, it's a way of expressing something. That's where that expression, what that expression term means. Okay? Some expressions in math contain only numbers. They're called numerical expressions. So, for example, 4 times 2. That's just a numerical expression. 7, or in algebra you might say the sum of 7 and 1. Or the difference of 9 and 1. Okay? These are ways of expressing these numerical expressions. Now, we're going to talk mostly about algebraic expressions today. Algebraic expressions contain variables. Variables are what? What's a variable? What do you think? A variable. Kaden?
Like a thing in a problem.
It's a what?
A thing in a problem.
A thing in a problem.
The answer? No.
That's not the answer.
The thing that makes the answer.
It is, it's these. Kaden?
The letter that replaces the number.
Yes. A variable is a letter that stands for a number. Oftentimes we don't know what the number is. And so we know what to do with the number, but we're not sure what the number is, or it could be that the number could be any number. We could substitute any number in for a variable and get an answer. I'll give you some examples. All right? If we know that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches, we talked about this example earlier, then no matter what we start with, if we start with 1 foot, that equals how many inches?
12 of them.
12 inches, because the number of feet, 1 foot, 12 times 1 is 12. And if we keep going, we have a variable expression, or an algebraic expression for the number of inches in however many feet we have. So if the room is 12 feet, we can find the number of inches using this equation or using this expression. Okay? Here's some others. If we translated them into words, the sum of n and 3, n plus 3. The word sum means to add, and then we have a letter and a number. 3 more than x. And
That would be x plus 3.
right. 3 more than x. Now, when we're reading expressions, sometimes it will help, or it will tell you what number you're starting with, and then what you're going to do with it. In this case, are we starting with 3 or x as our starting amount?
X.
X, because we're going to find 3 more than x. So x plus 3 is the expression. Okay? Y increased by 3. What's the starting amount in this case? Grace. Oh, sit up, pay attention. What is the starting amount in this one? Y increased by 3.
Y plus 3.
Yeah, so what's the starting amount? The amount you would be starting with?
Y.
Yeah, Y. Alright? The letter Y stands for the starting amount,
Yeah.
and then increasing it by 3. Okay? Let's look at some more. X decreased by 5.
X minus.
X minus 5. 5 less than Y. You see why that? Grace?
Y minus 5.
Y minus 5.
Yeah.
What? Why isn't it 5 minus Y? 5 less than Y. Right.
Because they're asking for what y is less than y.
Are we taking away 5 in this case, or are we taking away Y?
Taking away 5.
Taking away 5. So Y is the starting amount, and we're trying to find 5 less than Y. Alright? Be careful with subtraction. Be careful with these type. Because you see the numbers and letters, but you don't write them in that order. You have to read what the words say, and always figure out the starting amount. Always try to figure out the part you're starting with, okay? Let's go on without the answers and see if we can figure out the rest of them. The product of n and 7. The product of n and 7. Kaden?
N times 7.
N times 7. Now, in algebra, there's a bunch of ways to write that. You could write that as n dot 7, because the dot means times. You could write it as n parentheses 7, because the parentheses mean times. And you could also write it as 7n. You can reverse the order in multiplication because of what property? Why can you switch the numbers around in multiplication? What property is that? You know, Jacob? It starts with a C. The commutative property. Very good. Yep. So we could switch these two around. Whenever you're writing a multiplication expression, you always put the number first in this case. So you don't have to put the number first if you're having a symbol there, but if you're just reading it as 7n, in other words, you don't write it as n7. If you write it with the variable first, you have to have something in between it. But if you are writing it with the number first, then you can just shove them together. 7n, 5y, 6x, 3b, 5f. Okay?
If you're doing an algebraic expression and there are different types of ways to show multiplication, can you do multiple types in one problem or
Yeah, you could do multiple types in one problem. Yep,
okay.
yep. Now, here's one way that you should not write multiplication in algebra. N times 7.
And X.
Why not write it this way? Devlin?
Because somebody might confuse it with the letter X.
Correct. Yep. This could be n times 7, but it also could be n times x times 7. Because x is a letter that stands for a number. So don't use this way to write times anymore.
Okay, so
From here till you die.
What?
For the next 85 years.
Let that 90s.
So I'm never gonna ever.
Nope,
Let me-
not anymore.
Someone get thousands.
As long as I don't think so.
Seven? I'll be seven.
Okay.
No, for the rest of your math careers, don't write X for times. Write it with a dot, or write it with parentheses. Okay, or just shove the number and letter together, because that will help you. The number of days in a week. There are no numbers in this one. How can we write an expression? Aiden.
You could make weeks, W, and there are 7 days in a week.
All right, there are 7 days in a week.
So you would write W.
So if W equals weeks, then 7 plus W,
7W.
7W would give you the number of days in a week.
7 times W.
Okay? 7 times the number of weeks would give you the number of days. So this expression gives you the number of days in a week.
Okay.
The number of months in a year. Let's try this one. It says the number of months in Y years. So instead of, we're going to use the letter Y in our expression. Okay? Melina,
12 times Y.
right? We know that there's 12 months in 1 year. So 12Y would be the number of months in Y years. Kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's true. How about the quotient of? What does quotient mean? Do you remember, Michael? The answer to what kind of problem?
The remainder?
It has a remainder in it, yep. So it's a what kind of problem? Adding, subtracting, multiplying, or division?
Division.
Yep, division problem. And then with division, most of the time they will tell you what order to put it in. So if it's the quotient of 5 and Y, you could just write 5 divided by Y. Okay? The number of yards in F feet. Yeah, what is the, Kaden?
F divided by 100?
Not 100. A
1,000?
yard is about this big.
1,000?
Okay, now think. If a yard is about this long, how far is a foot? About,
270.
about this long?
W.
Think. Okay, then stop and think. Right?
1.
Do you remember now how many feet are in a yard?
1.
7?
Not 7.
3.
3. Yep. 3 feet equals 1 yard.
I was close.
All right?
You said 1. You said 1,000.
So the number of yards in F feet. Let's say you have a whole bunch of feet. How would we find the number of yards? Kevin, you know?
No.
You wanna?
Dividing them?
Yeah, divide it by.
Divided by 1,100.
Use the numbers
3.
for the conversion. Yeah. F divided by 3 would equal the number of yards. Why, yes.
I like that.
I know, you were skipping ahead of this one, Kaden. The number of kilometers in M meters. Yeah. That one is a power of 10. Bethany?
1,000.
1,000.
No.
1,000 what? Equals what? What's the conversion?
kilometers
Try
and
again.
then divided
1,000
times
meters
meters.
equals
Kilometers.
1
Oh.
kilometer, because kilo means 1,000, okay? Now we have to figure out how to find the number of kilometers if we're given a whole bunch of meters. Since the number of kilometers would be smaller than the number of meters, should we multiply or divide? To get a number smaller?
Divide.
Now, use M. See, you can get this. Use M for our whole bunch of meters. And divide it by what number?
1,000.
Yeah. M divided by 1,000 would equal the number of kilometers. Right? We just learned about expressions, and you learned about using the expressions in real world problems, real world situations. Okay? Let's go to your book.
All the way over there.
Open to page 315. Page 315, number 1.
Do we put this in our assignment?
Yeah. Use a fraction bar to write an algebraic expression for x divided by 7. Because the fraction bar also means division. So use x and 7 and write a fraction. X divided by 7. Would it be x over 7 or 7 over x?
Are we doing this in notes?
No. Put this in your assignment. This is part of your assignment. X divided by 7. Where would we put x and 7? Using a fraction bar. Would we put it on the top line or the bottom line? Read the question and figure it out. Andrew, read the question. Number 1. What does it say?
If the fraction bar is right, use our fraction bar to write an algebraic expression for x divided by 7.
So where would you put the x and the 7?
You would put the x on top and the 7 on bottom.
No, x divided by 7. You read it from top to bottom. Okay? This is the dividend and this is the divisor. Right? So that's a way of writing division in algebra, is with a fraction bar. Use an addition symbol to write an algebraic expression for m increased by 14. Number 2. How would you write m increased by 14? Okay then.
M plus 14.
Pretty simple. Yep. M increased by 14. Number 3. You guys got this.
We did.
G divided by 2 39/100ths. Jacob.
Should we use a fraction bar?
Either way. Yep.
Okay, and then G goes on top, and then 2 39/100. This is on the bottom.
Yep. How else could we write it? Devlin?
How do I say this? Put a box on it? Wait, an idea.
Oh, you mean to model it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could model it.
Okay.
G. And
Oh,
then,
not like that.
oh.
Just erase 2 of the corners.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you're trying to think of a way to say this symbol
Yeah, no.
with the dot. That's a way of
It
division.
means like, I think
You
it
mean
means
like the
just
little house thing?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's how I do it.
G
I don't know how to
divided
explain
by
that, so.
2 39/100ths.
Yeah, I don't know how to
Yep.
explain that. but-
That's correct. Yeah, I know. I don't either. I call this the house, so goes inside the house.
Yogi dog.
And then you fill the.
I don't know.
Because you ate all your food.
Yep, that's how you would do this without a calculator. Or you could write it this way, with this symbol. Get it?
Are you always supposed to write the letters lowercase? Or does it
Um,
matter if they're uppercase or
It doesn't matter if they're upper or lowercase. Oftentimes, like if we were writing the area for a rectangle, you may have learned before, the area is equal to the length times the width. Okay? Usually the answer, I don't know, for area is in a big letter. It really doesn't matter. However, don't write a small, why wouldn't you want to write that? What does that look like? That could be an I, that could be an L, that could be a 1. So be careful not to use letters that look like numbers, like X or 1,
T.
T, yeah. Just make them different somehow so that you don't get confused. Okay? All right, I think you get the idea on these.
Yeah.
I want you to do 4. Oh, let's do 4 and 6 together real quick, okay? Because they're a little bit different. Number 4. Somebody read that one. Sophie?
Less than the product of 4 and 2 less than the product of 4 and B.
Yeah, 2 less than the product of 4 and D. So there's 2 things going on here. Let's start with 2 less.
So you'd have to put the 4 in D first.
Yeah, 4 and D.
And we could do 4 plus D.
Oh, no, the product means
Altogether.
times, doesn't it? 4
Oh,
times
yeah.
D.
That's
You're right, 4D. You put this together.
And then you do the subtraction side and then 2.
Very good, Maya, very good. Because it's 2 less than, so we're taking away 2 from something. Okay? Skip to number 6. 1/2 of. How do you write 1/2?
Divided by 2.
Yeah, just write it like this, okay? 1/2 of. Now, usually when you see the word of, it means times. So if you have 1/2 of a number, and it doesn't tell you what the number is, then you use n for the number. 1/2 of n plus that number squared. N to the power of 2, the little to the exponent 2, the little 2. Okay? So you can have exponents in there. Or if you see a fraction half of, or 1/3 of, or 1/4 of, then this is how you write that. This is how you write that, okay? So finish this section. So do 1 through 1 through. Let's do 1 through 14.
Skip 5.
No, do 5. Because we'll have to go back to 5. 1 through 14 for tomorrow.
So we have to do number 7.